you introduce yourself and tell us something about yourself?
Yes, I'm more creative. I'm a person of experience. It's the lens that I wrote about the book. Is those my experience that I went through learning and things that I learned, I applied, and I have to, just like the title of my book, Attributes, Peculiar Nature, I brought those things out of my attributes, like extract those things out. That's how I learned by experience. Like some things that you may do and you find yourself doing, you don't know, you don't have a clue of knowing what you do, but you find yourself doing it. That's and do over time in experience, you learn exactly what you do and things like that. So that's what made me write the title of the book. Like, and that those type of experience that challenged me in that aspect, that made a part of who I am right now. And you know, it's still life is like a big world out there. You have to learn every day. That's a part of who I am and constantly going on each level of life.
Thank you for sharing that, Tori. I already learned a lot about you from the few statements that you made about learning about life and the things that you're going through, and how you became who you are. That's powerful stuff. How many
Yes.
books have you already written?
This just the first book that I published, but I got more in the process of writing right now. And I don't want to go into detail about those books because they're in process, but it's more to come as I gradually get it out there. And I'm a creator, I'm a writer, so that's part of me and things like that. So the book that I have out now, that's the best book that I have right now, but it's more to come after that.
Well, I'm excited because attribute
Yes.
peculiar nature already has a lot to say, so I can't wait for their next book. Tori, can you tell us the significance of the title of Attributes Peculiar Nature?
The significance behind the book is you have to go inside yourself. Sometimes you have to pay attention to who you are as a person. Sometimes we over respect things, and sometimes we ignore ourselves and our abilities and things like that. But the attributes, peculiar nature, just like the talent, how it sound, it's some talents that's in your inner man. And once you learn who you are, like maturity is nothing but you learn who you is as a person and you become that person. And there's knowledge behind that maturity that you gain. And that's maturity you gain is from experience. So when you extract that out yourself, once you come to the point to see exactly what you know how to do, that's become maturity and your abilities, anything that you set out to do. So, that's the significance behind it. And once you become in your own sense of self and learn for yourself to be that and know how to do those things in self, and you're going to see yourself doing those things, you'll surprise yourself and like, wow, I did that. And then you're going to know why you did that. That's part of what the book is all about when you gain from your experiences and stuff.
I like that. The significance of the title already has a lot to say. Can you share with us what people can expect when they read the book?
You can expect self-awareness, um, confidence, optimism, and open-mindedness. You got even in the sense of being intellectual, and I have some poems in there is spiritual on the spiritual side and things like that where you feel those things and you some things that you know and become aware of. It's like really sometimes some that are some in some parts of the book that I'm educating, and some parts of the book that some readers know about. It's just been awakening in them and making them more aware of what they already know about and things like that. So the book is beneficial and things like that. So it's more just self-awareness and awakening, and quickening. When you quicken yourself from where you're at, and you quicken yourself to be solid and firm in what you know and things like that. And let's just like, if you have a mental mindset where you know nothing cannot break your focus, and some parts of where I used to be insecure, I used to be all those things. Once you be challenged, that's human nature. Once a person challenged in certain aspects, and they learn how they be challenged in those aspects, and they get over that phase or episode, whatever it is, and once you come up out of that, you become solid and you become known of that what you've been through. So you have a focus and stuff like that. So you'll recognize those things that when it reoccur and things like that. That's what it's all about and things like that. Making a person more aware of their own talents.
All right. Thank you. We tackled quite a lot in that message, and it's all powerful stuff. Tori, can you share a snippet that isn't in the blurb?
I have one where I wrote butterflies. It's more like a female poem. But it's more like encouraging. I know I'm a male, and I write more male poems because I'm the writer in those poems that I wrote, and then from a male aspect. But I got female poems, like my understanding of females and stuff like that. So a female confidence when she have her butterflies and stuff like that. Even though she have her butterflies, she could feel beautiful, insecure, and also confident in all aspects that she go toward. But in total of her essence, she is beautiful in all those things that she learned from her cipher point into her maturity and things like that. That's something that's not titled or highlighted in the book, but it's in there. It's deep in the book. It's that poem is in there, and it's more poems that's in there that is real deeper. They go deeper, deeper, deeper as you read it. The book is a good read all the way through, and those poems is very in line. And if by being I'm more like a optimistic person. I'd be more on my optimistic side than my pessimism side. And I'm like a more encourager because I understand and stuff like that. Some attitudes that you learn and understanding, and once you come to a point where you understand all those things, you understand and you allow yourself to have humility towards certain things and understand just as it is, sometimes, you know, in this life, this life is fast in some aspects sometimes, and this life is, we have so many moments in this life. We have sad moments, we have fast moments, we have enjoyable moments, we have moments that where we travel and just enjoy ourselves and stuff like that. But those moments in each where we choose to be in those moments, that moment is a price where we experience.
I like that your definition of a butterfly and what it means to women. Um, in your book, is there a main character that holds a special place in your heart? If so, why?
Yeah. This was a sense where this little boy, he had cancer, and wrote a card to him, and essence, time of the essence, and it was time of the essence. That was Christmas that we had wrote that poem, that that card to him, and that was a touching moment for him, and that right there stayed with me for a while, for since that time, and that's been like in 2017, back in that time, around that time there, 2017. So they stayed with me. So that turned into a poem from that experience that I had with that guy and stuff like that. That little guy.
Thank you for sharing that special story. Um, do you have a favorite character that you have written? If so, what makes that character special?
My intellectual abilities that I become inspired by. Um, I can some things, some moments that I be around, like I go travel someplace, or I may be sit and listen to a conversation, and I may be an ear to someone expressing themselves, then themselves. I get those type of those people become my characters, and those things that I'm inspired by. Just listen to the go out on the beach and just listen to the ocean, and just that time that you just there, you become free in your mindset and relax to allow that type of intellectual type of flow to come to you. So doing those type of things, and you reflecting and stuff like that. Those type of things, the way I choose my characters and all that type of stuff, they become that time when I'm inspired deeply, just going through my thoughts and stuff, and then having the pleasure to just write it down, and it become a poem or something in that expectation as that, and then rereading what wrote and things like that. It kind of it's very touching, make you in a sense like, wow, you know? It's those type of moments like that.
And Tori, what inspired you to write this book?
My experiences, uh, things I'm challenged by, and just being the things that I went through, now came up out of, that inspired that me to write this book. And I don't want to go into personal stuff. It's a lot of stuff that I endured, um, that came from that's inside that book, and that helped me also by writing that book. That's that's kind of made me understand who I was. That was like written therapy to me. Like, intellectually sitting down, putting that together, putting everything together and reading it and stuff like that. My publication coordinator, I had to interact with her, and every time I got the manuscript back, I changed things, and I actually every time I reread it and changed it, it actually came together and became this book.
Can you share with us what was the journey like making the book?
The journey, it was a good journey. Um, I love being an author, and I love writing, and just the process of from point A to point Z is like in between making a book, the process just interacting with the people that's so smart, as you all guys, how y'all do y'all things and stuff. It's like interacting with people like that, knowing what they do, and can take your talent and put it all together, know what you need, and at the same time, you know, you're making progress and stuff like that. You know, it's been a journey. It's still a journey.
You mentioned earlier that you're in the process of writing other books and you finished writing one book. Out of all of those, which one is the most enjoyable to write?
Attributes of nature is about my experiences. I have one is one talking about my family. I have seven. It's seven of us, and it's like five boys. All five boys play football. As well, I'm an athlete as myself, and I wrote about the athleticism and what's was in the house growing up, and that's in the book that I'm writing now. That's in the process, and I have another one that when I went off to college in Tallahassee, um, I learned a lot from smart women that I interact with, and things like that. So I wrote about those type of women's like Angela. She is a model, and she doing actually teaching other models and stuff like that. She was at the time going to FAMU. She was becoming um, a lawyer and stuff like that, and things like that. So no type of, not to get too deep in personal stuff, but those type of aspects of things like learning stuff for them and just learning life, growing up and stuff like that. Just growing up in life, and that life teaching you certain things that you must do, you must not do, and things like that.
Can you share with us what inspired you to start writing?
Writing became, I tapped into my creative side when I was trying to make music during the time. Um, that was going like '08, '09 when I was making music with other guys, um, and things like that. So I tapped into that side, writing verses and recording is, and that became excitement. So I learned how to write lyrics, and so I took that and it became poetry stuff. I never let that go, that artistic side go. So I continued that. So I became more, as I grew as a person, became mature as a person, and at the same time experience doing my experiences. So I wanted to write about it. All the things that I got to know, I wanted to write about it in some kind of way. So I took that and I wrote my experiences through poetry, the reality that everything that I went through and stuff like that. It's just real talk, reality. It's not nothing made up. It's this reality. It's just in poetry sense, things like that.
I like how you started with music and then how music inspired you to start writing because you were already writing the lyrics and making poems. So
Mm-hmm.
that's some interesting facts. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now you said you started doing that in '08 and '09. Is that when you started writing, or when did you start
I
writing?
I really started. That became something that's like a breakthrough. Oh, you can do this here. But I started way back when my mom passed away in like '99. She passed away. I wrote that was my first poem that I wrote when she passed away at her funeral. I had a chance to speak, so I read that poem at her funeral. That's my first poem that I wrote at her funeral. It was, "Where are you going?" Things like that. So that was my first poem I wrote. Then I entered into, like in 2002, I entered into a contest. It was like poet search, like a poet search, online search, where you enter a poem. So I entered like 12 poems, and they took one of them, and I became a nominee of the year and stuff like that. So that was an experience that, oh, you can do this, but I still didn't grasp that side of me yet. It was to '08, '09 when I got into the music, and with other guys that were recording and stuff like that with me and stuff. We had little Fabian Records. That's what I trademarked and stuff like that, for the LLC on it and stuff like that. So during that time, about like the music board, the meter bridge and everything had pops stopping and padding the clothes and moving up, recording, and then like everybody do. Then we went to like Wild Style Records up there in Tallahassee. We got with an engineer up there. He really told us that y'all got yourself something. I could take this and go to A&R with this here. And that's when during the time that many independent artists and record labels they used to get like songs to put on the mixtape and stuff. Like they got the mixtape game now. It's wide open like that right now. That's during the time before that happened. So that's where they came from, the artistic side.
You mentioned earlier that you're an athlete and that you're a musician. Do you
Mhm.
always want to be a writer?
That's something that came out of my attribute. I learned that over time. I didn't jump out the gate knowing that I can write like this. I learned that I can do this over time. And there's some things that happened with me with my athletic side, So this what came when this came to me, and it was more like a adrenaline rush. I felt the same adrenaline rush that I played football with this right now. So I took that, and it became a passion. And I seen that even do it, and I just kept doing it. It's just anything that I can just sit around and just put a title to it, and really think about it, put my thoughts behind it, I can write about it. It would be no problem. Only thing I do, I just have to have the time to do it.
Tori, how do you handle literary criticism?
You always got people out there always going trying to roadblock you and things like that. I always got something to say. It, People gonna commentate anything that you do and say. It's up to you. Well, I came to that point by being challenged like that. I've been through that. Majority of everybody go through that. On those opinionated people that try to oppress you and challenge you about what they sit back and look at you doing and stuff like that. And you got some people that really want to see you do good and stuff like that. Those the ones that gonna come and congratulate you and inspire you and things like that. So you don't have to worry about those people. They gonna come to you, and they gonna be that cheerful person. They're gonna build rapport with you. So they don't get to know you. But the ones that sit back afar with the pluralistic ignorance and based on what they talk about with their friends and So between they understanding they get with their friend, that's what you are, they talking about you. So when you come around them, you're always going through stuff with them. You never come to an equal point with them because they already got a set talent before you even came in their presence. So I learned to deal with those type of opinionated people. So I do not break my focus when somebody say something bad about me, whatever. I keep on going. That if you know if person I learned I didn't always been like that. That used to bother me. I used to act out on that. That used to get to me, push buttons and stuff like that. But I learned over time about what those type of people do. Everybody don't do that. Those type of people do that to you. So I learned not to involve myself with that type of fearless, ignorant stuff. You know, when people get to talking like that, it's a hidden agenda behind why they treat you like that. So I just keep pushing, and I don't be disrespectful to them. I just gradually get out their presence and let them, even though I probably know that they talk about me, that's not none of my business because you can't prove nothing. You can't prove nothing to it. You don't have a set opinion about you anyway. So I don't waste no type of energy. You be emotionally hijacked because they talk disagreeing with me, you know. So I just keep it going because I have a perfect myself I need to do. So I cannot waste my time worrying about them. So I got to do this over him. So that's what I learned to do.
Like that you said you pray for them or you pray about them. So I think
Yeah,
that
I pray. You have to pray about them for them to have a change of heart. So over time, they learn that even though, even though in a set time, some people do that, then some people grow out of that because they get tired of this stuff themselves. But some people continue that stuff. You know, that's what you got to pray about. You have to pray about them people before they have a change of heart. Because they do some wild stuff, you know. That's basically what it is. But serenity is the best thing that you can have dealing with those type of people. Is only thing you can do is just change the things that you know, and what you don't know, you can't worry about it. Can't worry about it because if you worry about it, you won't lose your sanity worrying about that stuff. You got to keep going, even though you know what I'm saying. Some people just don't have that in them, you know, and that's what you got to understand with yourself. If you don't understand yourself by your nature being good and being respectful, and you wonder why I'm being respectful and I don't understand why this person disrespecting me. I'm not being disrespectful. Some people just don't have that type of stuff in them. You know, even though you're being kind, some people don't pay attention to kind.
one of my favorite prayers, the serenity prayers, right? So
Yes,
Tori, what advice would you give a new writer, someone that's just starting out?
always be optimistic and believe in your talents. Do not turn away with your talent because uh, sometimes you may have to deal with yourself like you don't believe totally that this will happen, but you have to push past that. And over time that you go past that, you learn I can do this on certain things that you do and learn to do. And then not to listen to others that seeing you do it and saying that it will never happen for you, this is not gonna happen. You got to push past all those type of things. And then until you find out for yourself that this is possible. And it will do it, and it will work because that's a part of your dreams. You do not want to go to a point of life where you regret of not doing certain things. Even if it doesn't come to a point where during that time that you may think is not going to work, If you keep doing it, it's the effort that you put inside everything that you do that make it work and grow it. So then becoming a new writer, you have to believe in yourself. And that's something that you want to do. You have to set forth and as a task to do it and see yourself do it. That's the only way you're gonna find out. Just see yourself do it.
I think that's good advice.
Mhm.
Where can readers purchase your books?
I have a website. I have two off the website. Um, on Instagram at Attributes Superior Nature, and I have another one, www.peculiar attribute nature. That's the author. That's the author site that I have where you can go on there and see certain things that I have.
Okay. And in case people missed it, where
Uh,
can they find more about you and your books?
you can go on Amazon. You go on Barnes and Noble. It's on every website where books are sold. You go on there and then you can order the book from there on their website when they are online stores and stuff.
Thank you, Tori. And lastly, how's your experience working with Bookmark Alliance?
My experience with Bookmark Alliance, you guys over there is awesome. Y'all, you are awesome. Zar, you by you interviewing me now, and Shane, Leah Diaz, that's my coordinator. You guys are awesome over there. You know, y'all know what to do over there. Y'all know exactly what to do over there. And things like that. Um, I think it's my fourth project that you all have for me. And y'all know exactly what you're doing over there. And y'all got an A in my corner. And so, Bookmark Lines is y'all have a lot more to offer. And, stuff like that.